Welcome back, YouTube. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to have an effective home workout to train your lats using only one piece of equipment, this band. So let's go. Okay, so currently there is this whole coronavirus catastrophe happening all around the world, and it's causing a lot of shutdowns in a lot of gyms, and a lot of people are now a little bit more apprehensive about going into these public spaces and training, especially when you look at how filthy a lot of gyms actually are. I don't know what the statistics are when it comes to how many germs you'll find on dumbbells or barbells or any of those kinds of things compared to, say, a toilet seat, but I'm sure that it is quite close to the number of germs, if not more, than what you'll find on a toilet seat. Do you know, Cav? No? No idea, okay. We're just gonna say it's a lot. We're gonna say gyms are filthy, and there's gonna be opportunities, there's gonna be times out there where you can't train in the gym. Maybe it's not even to do with the coronavirus is currently having everybody freaking out. Maybe it is that you're just traveling. Maybe it is that you just don't want to go to the gym today. Maybe you're short on time. Maybe you enjoy training at home and you want to get a very efficient, effective workout in, and you only have at your disposal one of these elastic bands. Are you able to actually have a good workout? Are you able to stimulate muscle to grow by using just one piece of equipment? I say you definitely can. Because what we have to think about, the thing we need to really start to get our heads around is when we're going to the gym, what are we trying to achieve? When we're looking at muscle building specifically anyway, and when we're looking at trying to build muscle, all your body cares about is the stimulus that's placed upon it. How close are we taking our muscle fibers to fatigue points? Whether you go to failure or not is a whole different kettle of fish altogether. But we do know that we need to be getting close-ish to a failure point. And that's about it. You've got to take your muscles through as much of a contractile range as possible and have those muscle fibers fatiguing through that contractile range. And that's it. So we very conveniently use things like dumbbells and barbells and cables and machines and different free weight or supported exercises when we go to the gym, but there is no reason why you can't achieve a similar stimulus using the resistance placed on your body only through a band or maybe your body weight. And that's where a lot of these home-based workouts are going to come from. So it's not just about trying to mimic every single exercise that you do in the gym with a band or with body weight, although that's going to come into it in some way, of course, as well. The most important thing for us to do, though, is understand the sequencing. Why you might do certain exercises before others, and why things will be better suited in a grouping or spread out more, or doing one exercise first or one exercise last. And to understand that, we need to start to get our heads around a very simple concept known as positions of flexion. So without getting too deep into all the nerdy muscle physiology stuff, your muscles, every single muscle in your body, has different positions where it's going to have a greater opportunity to contract or to what's called produce force. So let's take the biceps as a very simple example. The biceps, they bend the elbow from here to here. That's the contraction they take your arms through. Now, depending on where my arm is positioned, my biceps are going to be in a better position to flex in terms of the amount of force they can produce to create that contraction. So the strongest position of flexion is what's called this mid-range, when your arm, in this example, is flexing around here-ish. So if I had like a weight in my hand held statically, pulling me straight down, my biceps are able to handle that weight very, very well in this position. The next strongest position, or the next weakest position from that, is the lengthened position. So that would be my arms being back behind here. So my biceps, they can still flex, they can still contract, but because they're placed more into a stretch position, if I had load pulling me that way and I had to work against it, they're going to be less able or a little bit weaker comparatively to if I was here. The final position, so the weakest position of flexion, is the shortened position, where my arm would be closer to around here-ish, and I'd be pulling the weight in this way. So again, my biceps can still flex. This position is still available to them to be contracting in, but in terms of the amount of strength and force production potential they have, it's not as much. So what does that really mean? It means that depending on where you place your body, depending on where you place your limbs and how you place the load in your hands, you might be setting your body up to work very, very efficiently or inefficiently. Now, inefficient doesn't necessarily mean bad. We're going to economize on the inefficiency to have a very, very short, sharp, efficient workout using just these bands for lats. So let's get into it. What we're going to do is a 3-exercise giant set. You could do these as standalone exercises, but there actually is no reason why you can't do it all as one set, and it would count in my eyes as one set for lats, because it takes them through their entire contractile range and it overloads all the different positions of flexion. So when you reach a failure point by the very final exercise, your lats are toasted. So this band here, before we get to anything else, band is a thick band. It's rated at about, where does it say it? Where's that label going? Here we go. It's labeled at about 45.4 to 54.5 kilograms. So it's pretty heavy, it's pretty thick. I prefer to use a relatively thick band as opposed to the very, very skinny tubing, just for convenience, because if I had the tubing there, because of how strong your lats are, you'll need to stretch them out a long, long, long ways to their limit, and that's where they might snap and smash you in the face, and that's not a good time for anybody. So, relatively thick band, graded to your own strength. We're going to do this single arm, but you could also do this double arm depending on the band setup that you have. All you want to do is anchor it on something. I've got a very convenient pole here on this cable station. Maybe you're anchoring it around a door, a heavy object, some kind of a post in your backyard. It could be around a tree, it could be around your car, maybe, if you were very creative. Maybe, yeah, let's say car. And all we're gonna do, loop that in, get a good grip onto it, and we're going to start with training the lats in their weakest position of flexion. We're going to use this band tension to overload the shortened position. So the shortened position for biceps would be up here. The shortened position for lats is elbow right back to the side. So, seated cable row. We're doing this in a fancy lunge stance, more for convenience and comfort more than anything else. And make sure you have enough tension on the band so you come back enough so there is some tension in that band. If I'm in too close here, there's nothing happening at all. And that's not going to create any kind of stimulus. So bring it whoop, way back up there, step back, and here, I'm going to pull straight back in and flex. Trying to pull this elbow down towards my hip crease, contracting the lats. So as I pull in, the elastic tension increases the amount of tension placed on my lats. My lats have to work very, very, very hard right here in this shortened position. To go a little bit more nerdy for the real nerds out there, something else is happening in terms of the mechanics of this movement. When I start up here, the band is directly in line with my shoulder, which means there's not that much tension being placed on my body. As I pull down towards my hip, that band gets further away in this vertical axis from my shoulder, which actually increases the resistance placed on my lats as well. So both the band and the mechanics of the exercise are overloading my lats in this shortened position here. Use enough tension that has you failing at around 6 to 8 reps. That's the goal. Because 6 to 8 is a magic number, and if you do 9 reps, you get 0 gains. I think it was about 8. From there, we're going to change our position slightly. I'm going to shift forward into this very functional quadruped stance. And now we're going to do the exact same pulling motion, but you'll see a couple of subtle differences. This is more like a lat pull down. But what you'll see, the band tension still increases as I pull in because it is an elastic band. But in terms of how far that band is from my shoulder, as I pull it in, oops, just losing a bit of tension there we go. As I pull it in, the band actually draws in closer to my shoulder from here to here as I reach that contraction. So that actually creates a slight drop off mechanically in the amount of resistance placed upon my lats, which is why, despite the band tension still being the same, I'm actually able to get more repetitions out despite hitting failure about, 17 seconds ago on the cable row. So yes, I hit task failure on the seated cable row 25 seconds ago, but now using the lats, using the lat pull down variation here, my lats still have more to give until that point. Now, final exercise. We're going to go to a stiff arm pull down, so isolation for lats. It removes the biceps, removes the shoulders somewhat, and it's going to be more about the lats. Thing is though, they're pretty toasted, and the band tension is still the same. So when I pull down, you're going to find that, that there is my range of motion, which is actually, that is where tension is at its greatest mechanically. Because right here, band is furthest away from my lat, from my shoulder, so my lat has to work very, very, very hard. To show you guys the difference there, if I was in super close, just to make it a bit easier for myself, because I have actually hit a failure point now, if I was to come all the way in to say here, the band draws in closer to my shoulder. So on a stiff arm pull down, the stiff arm pull down is at its most difficult at this point, which is the mid-range for the lats, which is just like being here for the biceps. So it's where your body has the most strength. So it's where we want to overload it last in the sequence. So we've gone cable row, we've gone lat pull down, now we're going the stiff arm pull down, and we're going as far as we can to that max tension point, and I want you to hold that for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go again. So we're doing what's called an isometronic rep, which is where you're pulling down and you're trying to keep going, but you physically can't, against those forces. Very, very effective and efficient way to overload and burn out those last few fibers. And that is it. So, 3 exercises done back to back. Technically it's 3 sets, although I do consider it just 1 set for lats. What I would recommend here is doing one side, then do the other side, and then because you've hit that failure point, take complete rest. So about 3 minutes, if not longer, and then do maybe another set, maybe one more, so maybe go 3 sets total, and that's it. That is all you really need. It's achieved a very, very similar stimulus to what you would have gotten had you have gone into the gym and used dumbbells, barbells, machines, plates, and your typical free weight exercises. So even if I was training in a gym right now, well, I mean, I guess I kind of am, but even if I was not using just the band, I would still try to set some of my workouts up in this kind of nature, where I overload the short position, the lengthened position, and the mid-range at some point through my workout, and condensing it very much like this is a very, very efficient way to train. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, your lats are done, move on to something else, or get out of the gym and go enjoy your day. Anyway, that is a very, very effective way for you guys to go about training with your lats at home. Give it a shot with a band, or if you want, go to the gym and try these exercises out with cables if you wanted to. Let me know how you go. If you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel and tell all your friends about it, because we're going to be releasing a lot more cool content for you guys very, very, very soon. See you guys next time.